his second interview by Bishop Jackson out of the Great Faith Ministries, being interviewed by Fredricka Whitfield.
Also met with Trump one-on-one is Bishop Wayne T. Jackson. He joins me now from Detroit. Good to see you, Bishop. Thanks so much for being with us.
You're welcome, Fredricka.
Okay, so he says, Donald Trump says he's going to turn things around, and that, you know, he wants to learn, and that he's also committed to helping the people in Detroit and to helping African Americans as a whole. He said that from your pulpit. How much of what he said do you believe? How much do you feel was very genuine?
Well, let me first of all say, Fredricka, we've been hearing promises from politicians, you know, all our lives. So getting something done, you said, what do I believe? You know, is from Missouri, you know, show me. And we'll go from there. But he's very believable. He's very compassionate. He won a lot of people over as far as his genuineness, as far as what they felt. And you know, he's very kind and very listening, attentive to the people that spoke to him. And I really believe that he done a wonderful job.
Now, you also did a one-on-one interview, right? On tape, on videotape, because you are the founder and president of the Impact Network. You did this one-on-one interview. You got a lot of pre-publicity in the New York Times about prepared questions that you delivered to Donald Trump, giving him an opportunity to kind of script his reply. But tell me how that one-on-one went. Kind of describe for me, you know, some of the questions asked, what the demeanor was like, and why it is it's going to be a week before anybody is going to see that interview.
Well, you know, production, I'm not the producer or the editor. The edit would be done from our camp. Trump never asked, or his camp ever asked, to be co-editors or to try to put any type of influence in the editing department of this interview. But they will have that done once my son, who was handling it, tell me when it's ready. But no, there was no interference with the proposed questions that I was going to ask him. His camp did ask me to forward the questions I was going to ask him about maybe a week or two beforehand. And that was nothing unusual for me, because I've done things for the White House, have prayed prayers and things like that. And they would ask me, even before I did an invocation, they would say, I'd like to see your prayer before you pray. So it was nothing that was hidden or anything that was underhanded or undermined, because we walk in integrity, and I really believe that they've blown this out of proportion, because he just wanted to know what he was going to be asked, and certainly if I was doing the interview, I want to be prepared for it too.
Yeah, people oftentimes want to know the parameters of a discussion, so it's not that unusual to give people an idea of what generally might be asked. Now, earlier on CNN, you know, you joined us on the air, some of my colleagues on the air, and you said at the time that you really wanted to hear some real answers from Trump. You said you wanted to hear more than just, you know, what he has said, which is what do you have to lose. Do you feel like you got more concrete answers? You were able to better assess where he's coming from?
Well, Fredricka, let me say this. I want everyone to know that I am not a journalist. I would not step in your arena. I wouldn't dare do that. I'm a pastor, and I did the best that I could do as far as president.
But you're a voter, and that's how people, you know, people were responding to hearing him, the candidate, the man who's about, you know, who's running for the highest office of the land, who said to an African American community, in large part, talking to people, saying, what do you have to lose? And when you received that, and when you had a chance to sit with him face to face, help us fill in the blanks. What did you get from him, just from a citizen talking to another citizen?
Well, we talked about that, and I explained to him that, you know, there's a lot of situations in our community, and when you try to maybe broaden and say, well, everybody, you can't paint everybody with the same brush, that, you know, all African Americans are not, you know, going out of their homes and the neighborhoods being shot or Rob. There's a diversity in our community, and I was very open with my passion concerning looking at especially the job situation, also the African.
So how did he assure you? What did he say to you that won you over?
He just told, he didn't give me any policies, and I don't want to go too much into the interview. I want everybody to judge that.
Well, this is called a tease. This is a tease for your interview. I mean, tell us what was said so that we know, so we can't wait with bated breath, right, to watch the rest of your interview. But give us an idea of what he said that convinced you.
Well, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but things that were what was on my heart that really, that was really concerned about, and that is the killings of unarmed Black African American men and the Justice Department. I really wanted to know what would this Justice Department look like, and why we see it seemed like it's a double standard. This Caucasian boy rapes a girl, gets 6 months, only do 3 months, and some African Americans are in jail just for smoking weed or whatever. And we want to know that if this is what is his administration going to look like, his Justice Department? How are we going to solve these problems when it comes
and he said?
And he said it's not right. He says that he understands it. That's what he said. And we're going to do something about it.
Okay, Bishop Jackson, I'm curious to hear more about your conversation.
I know you are. I know you are.
So let's just take a short break in TV land. We're going to take a commercial break for now. And then when we come back, we're going to talk more about T. Jackson. He hosted at the Great Faith Ministries International Church in Detroit, Donald Trump, who came, and you see him right there. He's swaying to the music. He seemed to really enjoy himself. And Pastor, you had the one-on-one interview for your Impact Network broadcast. You're the founder and the president of Impact Network. You did that one-on-one conversation with him earlier. So, when and where is that going to air? Because we understood leading into it, it would be a week from now. When are we going to be able to see this interview?
Well, I like to be true to my word, Fredricka, and I'm at the mercy now of the editors. My son, who is the person that's over this project, certainly we had to bring in special people to get it done because we wanted to make sure something of this significance was done correctly. So he is giving me tentative date, and that's Thursday. We won't know because tomorrow is the holiday, but we will be having a update on when it really will air. It would be heavily promoted.
Okay. You introduced Donald Trump, and when he was finished talking, you also said, add another title. Pastor, and then you gifted him with this Israeli prayer shawl. It was quite the moment, and 2 Bibles. At what point, what did he say, whether it was during the one-on-one or whether it was during the service, what did he say to win you over? Has he won you over? Has he convinced you that you should support him, or convinced you that he has a mission for all voters, including African-American voters?
Oh, no question about it, Fredricka. Again, I'm a Democrat, and I say that over and over again all my life. I have voted Democratic. You go in my office, you will see pictures of President Clinton, Vice President Gore, or President Obama. I go on and on. Senators, Congress people. I've always been supportive of the Democratic Party.
Okay, well, you invited the Republican nominee to your church. Why?
Well,
was it?
Let me back. No, we're gonna get it straight. I
Okay.
did not invite him. He asked to come to do a sit-down interview with me for the Impact Television Network, which is the largest, only African-American Christian television network in our nation, touching over 50 million homes. That's why he came. That was the original reason he came. Then he says, well, while I'm there, I want to stay for service. And that's how it ended up being where it landed.
Okay. Then do you feel comfortable that you have helped be an instrument for Donald Trump and his campaign to try to convey a message that the camp is hoping to convey?
Well, what I'm trying to do is be an instrument of love. I'm a broker of love. I'm a minister. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a politician. Like I said, I'm not trying to bring an instrument for the Democrats or the Republicans. I'm trying to bring understanding. I teach my people the greatest gift that God's given you is the gift of choice. And people need to know both sides.
Okay.
If people want to vote, we need to know both sides.
Right. Well, in the Detroit Free Press editorial board had published an op-ed and essentially said, know, Detroit should not allow itself to be used, your church should not allow itself to be used by Donald Trump's gain. What's your response to
I'm
that?
answering
Do
a
you feel that
question.
way?
Well, I'm asking a question. CNN have sat down and interviewed him. MSNBC, Fox.
We're a news
We have-
organization.
I'm sorry.
We're a news organization. You should convey all sides.
No, what I'm saying, no. What I'm saying in essence, this is that if people want to know, and he wants to speak to the African American community, well, we're the only African American Christian television network. And people want to know because he's been preaching to black folk or African Americans from white audience. So I don't understand why people say, well, Donald Trump needs to go to the African American church. He needs to stop preaching to black folk and a white audience. So when he comes, then they get upset. Then they say you're being used. We're being trying to be manipulated all the time. Everybody trying to manipulate whoever. But I'm saying in essence this, the people should have enough of understanding. Black folks don't need a guardian to tell them whether or not they're being manipulated or not. I don't understand that. People have a brain and they can make their own decision.
And do you believe that people were enlightened by the occasion?
I'm sorry.
Do you believe people were enlightened by what took place in your church and that it's helped
yes.
them solidify some ideas or thoughts or opinions about Donald Trump?
Oh, no question about it. Donald Trump, he's a different Donald Trump in person than he is on TV. And people saw the realness that they felt that he conveyed to them.
All right.
And I'm not going to try to tell people how they should vote. I'm not going to try to tell people how to run their lives. I just try to bring information out and let us make our decision. Why people always think that African Americans always need somebody to tell us what to do? I don't understand that.
Bishop Wayne T. Jackson, thank you so much for your time.
What about the Talib?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? That was very nice.
The Talib, you forgot about the Talib. I put the Talib
I asked
on him.
about it. Yeah, I asked.
I got one right here. And this is my personal one, but we gave one to Donald Trump
I saw
on
that.
Saturday.
Yes. And why do you feel like he earned that from you?
I give him a Bible too. Do we earn a Bible? Do we give a Bible to somebody who want to be inspired by the Word of God? We want whoever it may be, whether it's Hillary or Donald Trump, whoever it's going to be, we don't have to earn to pray to God. How do you earn to pray to God? I don't understand that. This was not no elevation or whatever. This was something, this is a prayer show. That's what it is. If he will be our president, we want him to be a prayer, a vessel of prayer. And this is what the Jewish males wear on Sabbath. This is what they wear on special holy days. And it's what Jesus had when the woman who touched the hem of his garment and who had been sick for 12 years, she said, if I can touch her, she spent all her money with doctors and couldn't get healed. But she said, if I only can touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole. Well, I prayed over that special talib for Mr. Trump. I fasted and prayed and now put it on him because he needs prayer. All of us need prayer, and I don't understand what the big deal is.
All right. Well, I'll rephrase that. It was a gift from you, Bishop Wayne T. Jackson. All right. Thank you so much. Good to see you from Detroit. Appreciate it.
Something is suspect. I don't know what it is, but something is suspect. The original information was that his church reached out to Trump. Now he's saying that Trump reached out to him because of his network. Something is suspect. And that's about as much as I want to say about this.